Now, let's turn our attention to what's happening here and, making sure that we've got people who are able to, focus on getting a job in the 21st century economy and the post-coronavirus economy. And the Prime Minister today giving a big speech setting out plans to transform, he says, training and skills in this country to help the country build back better and boost productivity. Well, let's talk about this all with the Apprenticeships and Skills Minister, Gillian. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
There's going to be an awful lot of focus on this, isn't there? When in a few months' time we see all those people who are on furlough and those working in the hospitality industry and aviation industry, those jobs just start to go. Huge numbers of people on the dole queues. What sort of education and training and skills are we going to be rolling out that can help those people find new work?
Well, there's a whole lot of things that we rolled out. So we've already announced the plan for jobs, which is really focused on youth unemployment. What we're announcing today is really focused on adult skills. And there's I often say that before the first month I had this job, which, was before coronavirus, we had full almost employment, hardly anybody unemployed. And every day in every sector, I was hearing about massive skills shortages. And that's everything from health and social care, teaching, policing, construction, engineering, anything to do with digital, anything to do with data, lots and lots of different careers. And we do have these skill shortages still. So what we're trying to do is to make sure that we have a much broader offer, much more flexible, much more modular, that people can engage with, and in those areas that will enable them to get fabulous careers in those sectors where there are shortages.
And there has been a lot of talk, isn't there, about you can't preserve the economy in aspect, and a lot of the jobs which are going to be lost forever. People are going to be working from home. A lot of those service industry jobs, they're just going to change. Retail industry is going to change an awful lot from the high street to online, etc., etc. The question is whether the alternative jobs that are going to be available are going to be higher skilled jobs or higher paid jobs. How hopeful are we that we can transform our economy? I mean, there is a point where we can use, with we put our minds to it, our shoulders to the grindstone, that we can use this horrific experience of the pandemic and the economic problems as an opportunity to remake our economy and to change and diversify and get into better, higher skilled jobs. But how does that happen? Is that something that government can lead?
Well, I mean, that's part of what we're announcing today, to make it much simpler for that to happen. As you say, this has been something that has been
our line seems to have frozen. I can see Gillian. I think, have we got you back, Gillian?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Yes, I tell you what we need. We need to train up some people who are better at IT. That's what we need to do.
Well, yeah, and to be honest, we didn't realise it was video, so we've now got fingers all over.
You're coping very well, and we can see someone's finger. Tell the person to get their finger off the screen.
I know.
So you're doing very well.
I think I need to get the right digital skills. No, obviously, this is something that we've seen coming for a while. There's been talk about the skills gaps, about the changing needs of our economy, etc. But what's happened with coronavirus is it's massively accelerated some aspects of that, particularly with the shift to online, and as you say, the future of work and people changing perhaps the operating models of how they work. So what we are announcing today is very much with that in mind, to make sure that everybody has the access, no matter where they are, what point they are in their career, that they can get access to training, they can get access to upskilling. So we've already done a number of things over the summer. We launched the Skills Toolkit, which is there to help people with basic digital and right up to coding courses, all of which are free. We're announcing a massive increase in that today. Then we've got digital boot camps, and then we've got this entitlement for all adults to be able to do level 3, which is basically an A-level equivalent in a whole host of high value areas that match the kind of skills gaps that we have, and that they could differ on a local and national level, but really focused on closing those skills gaps and giving people that opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, we do know, don't we, that youth unemployment is the one that's really flying. The young people are the people who are least likely to have job security, last in the door, first out the door, and also more likely to work in those sort of retail and hospitality jobs which have gone first. The question is whether we are going to have the jobs in the future. Let's talk about what's going on at universities at the moment. We're now looking at people saying they want refunds for their university degrees. for the fees, which they've taken massive loans out for, and indeed for their accommodation. People being basically imprisoned in some university campuses. We've had pictures of fire exits being chained locked. I mean, God, someone needs to be sacked on the spot for that. And we've also got this question mark about whether young people can come back. Oh, sorry, goodness knows what's going on there. And also, I'm a feed from another radio station, I think. But also this idea that the university students won't be allowed to go back to mum and dad at Christmas. Can you guarantee for us and confirm for us that the university students will be at home with mum and dad if they want to be on Christmas Day?
Well, we fully expect that students will be able to go home for Christmas.
That's not a guarantee.
Well, the Secretary of State is going to set out the statement later, just basically saying how that will be achieved. But we will work to make sure that happens. I think that's the clearest thing. I agree. It's very difficult. This group of students have really had a tough time. They missed out on the end of their schooling. They missed out on their exams, all their summer activities. Their leaving parties, their Freshers' Week. They really have been massively impacted by coronavirus, and now in a small number of cases, obviously they are isolating or self-isolating, but that's just the same as everybody across the country. So we're living with the virus right now. If you are infected with coronavirus or you have been close by somebody, obviously the app will ping or somebody will call you and you have to self-isolate. That's what we're living with right now.
Was it the right decision to send youngsters back to university, or should it have all gone online this term?
Well, I think that, some universities did go fully online, but the vast majority wanted to give that full experience to the young people, and it is part of the experience. I mean, they are doing face-to-face classes as well. It's a blended mix. But if we'd have stopped everybody from going to university and kept their lives on hold, then I think there probably would have been a great uproar about that. The reality is that the university have made a massive, they've really tried hard to make universities COVID safe. What we now need is to make sure that everybody understands that in terms of socialising, they have to be careful about how they socialise, and that's the same for everybody across the country. We really do need to minimise our social contact and make sure we keep that distance and wash our hands thoroughly.
What do you make of the fight back in the House of Commons just finally? MPs calling the government, Big Brother Orwellian, Oliver Cromwell cancelling Christmas, ruling by decree. Do you think that Parliament should get to have a say when we bring in draconian rules as part of the government?
There is no doubt if a year ago somebody had told us what we're living through right now and the rules that we're under, none of us would have believed it. There is no doubt. And that's been incredibly difficult for everybody. But we also know why we're doing it. There's a lot of discussion in Parliament. Obviously, we have a vote on this tomorrow. We do need to obviously bring Parliament along with us. Everybody represents their constituents. So, we do need to have those debates. Lots of debates will happen.
Should there be a vote, though? Should MPs have a vote? Should the House of Commons have the final say on bringing in emergency rules, like, for instance, a landlord being fined for playing music too loud and allowing people to dance in his pub? No one saw that one coming. Wasn't announced. Now it's law.
Well, I think that you have to get the balance between government being able to react quickly, which is why we all voted for the Coronavirus Act 6 months ago. That comes up again tomorrow. We do need to get the balance right. And clearly you can't have everything going through Parliament. It would make no sense whatsoever. It'd be too slow. This is a global health pandemic. Cases are doubling every 10 days. We really do need to take this situation seriously. It's unfortunate because some of these rules, they're rules that no government would ever want to introduce, but they're there for a good reason. They're there to protect the population and to try and get the R rate back under 1 so we can learn to live with the virus.
Okay, thank you for that, Gillian Keegan. Really appreciate you joining us, Apprenticeships and Skills Minister. It's coming